Coming up today on RMU Live, a change in the cafeteria hours here at Robert Morris University, an update on the war in Syria and the attacks in Aleppo, as well as a recap from the prestigious Emmy Awards. Welcome back to RMU Live for Monday, September 19th, 2016. I'm Gage Golding.
And I'm Malik Frierson. Here's what's happening now. We start our show with breaking news about the bombings in New York that shook the city this weekend. Aman Darami, the man suspected in the bombing in New York and New Jersey, is now in custody after a shootout with police sources. Sources said more on this breaking story is Hannah Smith.
Thank you, Malik. And as you said, Aman Rahmani is in custody after a shootout with police in connection with the Chelsea, Manhattan, and New Jersey explosions that happened this weekend. And he was taken into custody after a shootout with police. And as you can see right here on CNN, he is being taken off in a stretcher, but they definitely have him in custody with the named suspect. Now we're going to go over to Banjo, which is a social media source that we subscribe to, and as you can see right here from News Executive, it looks to be that Rahmani is down after police took him down after their little standoff type of deal that they had. Now the FBI is not saying whether or not this is anything to do with ISIS or other terrorist relations with that, but they definitely are saying that it was intentional. And they have also connected him with evidence of his fingerprints on an unexploded explosive from the Chelsea, Manhattan shootings. Now we're also going to go back over here and look at some more photos from our live updates. And it seems that this is happening on Elizabeth Avenue in New Jersey. That's where they got him. And right here you can see a large police presence right here. Now, we will have more on this as we continue through the show if we have any more updates, but in the meantime, back to you guys.
Robert Morris University was recently given the title of Doctoral University and ranked number 188 in the U.S. News and World Report ranking of national universities. But RMU is no stranger to awards. RMU Century Media students were nominated for 2 Pinnacle Awards. Matt Merlino was nominated for Best Online Infographic, and RMU-Live's own Trevor Young for Best Arts Entertainment Story. The RMU Saudi Student Club was awarded second place out of 370 clubs at other universities for achievements by the Saudi Arabian Cultural Mission. With this year's change in hours at the PNC Colonial Cafe, students have concerns about the change in their meal times. With more on the story is RMU Century Media's Gage Goulding.
One thing students might notice a difference about this year is the change of hours at the PNC Colonial Cafe. The biggest change in dining services at Robert Morris University is the shortage of hours in the PNC Colonial Cafe. New this year, the cafeteria will close at 3 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is new from the 5 p.m. closing time last year.
I think the hours should be changed back to normal, or Romo's should start selling different things to accommodate for this change.
Students now have the choice of Romo's, which is open until midnight and serves sandwiches and select grab-and-go products. Another choice for some students is to make the trek to Yorktown, which has its full-service cafeteria with a wider selection until midnight.
It's not the greatest time. I mean, there's other options here right down the road on University Boulevard. So there's other things you can get to eat, but it's not terrible.
With the cafeteria cutting 2 hours a day on weekends, students are hoping to see added menu items at Romo's or an expansion of hours here at the cafe. Reporting from the PNC Colonial Cafe, Gage Golding, RMU Century Media.
Dining services hope that the changes in the dining hours will better accommodate student schedules.
Mount Lebanon police are searching for a man who asked an 8-year-old girl to get in his vehicle Saturday afternoon. Police say the girl was playing in front of her yard around 1 p.m. when a man driving a white SUV stopped in front of her home. The driver is described as being in his mid to late 50s with a receding hairline or partially bald and wearing a neon green or yellow collared shirt. Police are searching for a person who shot and killed a 17-year-old girl. She walked down the street Saturday afternoon in Homewood. Pittsburgh police say Daya McCall was shot and killed at 3 p.m. at the intersection of Mount Vernon and Belmer Streets. Ebony Pugh, a spokesperson for the Pittsburgh Public Schools, confirmed McCall was a sophomore at Carrick High School.
The Diocese of Pittsburgh is facing a subpoena and a grand jury investigation for any records of child abuse. The Office of the Attorney General issued the subpoena 2 weeks ago, asking for records dating back to 1947. Bishop David Zubik believes that this is because of the 50 counts of sexual assault in the Altoona, Johnstown diocese. A man also claims that the diocese is involved in a cover-up with one priest who had multiple claims against him. The man also claims that there were settlements with over 32 victims in 2007.
After a weekend of intense storms, let's go to RMU-Live's chief weather forecaster, Greg Sutton, with a look at what the weather has in store for today.
Thank you, Gage. Well, today has a high of 81 degrees and a low of 57. And after the storms moved through, there were a couple cases of funnel clouds spotted in the sky. So none of them were confirmed to touchdown, but come back later and we'll go through the 5-day and tomorrow's weather forecast.
Communities throughout the Pittsburgh area are saying thank you to men and women in blue as part of National Thank a Police Officer Day. Volunteers stopped by the 36 stations in Pittsburgh to deliver gifts to more than 500 officers. And for all you need to know about RMU news, sports, arts, and entertainment, be sure to visit RMUcenturymedia.com. And when we come back from the break,
and an update on the civil war in Syria. We'll be right back.
These boys are my heroes. They come every week to spend time with my children.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
They can teach them something no one else can.
Wisconsin.
They're role models to the children, and homework comes way before sports. Their grades have improved, and their lives are just a bit richer.
Okay.
What they do for my kids is truly wonderful.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
I call them my lifeline.
People don't realize how quickly you can end up on the street. One thing happens in your life, medical bills you can't pay, you lose your job, and that's it.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
We went to DC to work with the homeless. They sell a newspaper called Street Sense. Thought I'd help.
But if you want to give more, you can.
This person came up to me and said, get a job. And for 2 hours, I felt what it was like to be homeless.
Good morning. $1 help.
Some of the other students said, how can we change this? And I said, sometimes you can't change the world, but you may be able to change one person's world. My dream? Open a psych clinic for people on the street.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
One day after the coalition airstrikes bombed Syrian government troops, warplanes made multiple attacks against rebel strongholds in eastern Aleppo on Sunday. With more on this story, here's CNN's Fred Platkin.
Driving through a battered city, the ceasefire is barely holding in Aleppo. Breaches becoming more frequent. Still, the residents are cleaning up, even the youngest. Ali is 12 years old. He and his siblings among the many displaced now finding shelter in a bombed-out hospital. We have to keep working until we totally clear this room and the room next door, he says, because this is going to be our new home. As calm prevails, at least most of the time, the Syrian government is moving an increasing number of displaced people into the bombed-out ruins of former frontline districts. These families forced to move several times. The baby Abdul Malik born in a tent. We've lost 3 homes, his grandmother says. Every one got destroyed. Now we're displaced. If we had the money, we would flee. Despite the fact that the ceasefire is very fragile, the people here aren't wasting any time. They're getting to work picking up the pieces, hoping that against all odds, the truce may hold. And while few are optimistic about the chances, some, like Hussam Masri, also displaced several times, say even the current tenuous ceasefire is a blessing. The ceasefire is good so far, he says. I've been here a few days and the situation is better. We can hear some shelling, but it's much less than before. As the warring factions and their backers struggle to keep the truce alive, Aleppo's people, like 12-year-old Ali, hope the hard work they're putting in will not be wasted again. Fred Pleiken, CNN, Aleppo.
Syrian officials are now asking the United States to adhere to the ceasefire.
Hillary Clinton's lead on Donald Trump has been declining and is only ahead 1 to 2%. In Ohio, Iowa, and Colorado, Clinton is trailing, and in Michigan and in Virginia, she only has a 3-point lead. This may be because on Friday she referred to Trump supporters as a basket of deplorables. In the past week, her probability of winning went down from 70% to 60%.
The man who stabbed 9 people at a Minnesota mall on Saturday before being shot dead by an off-duty police officer was a soldier of the Islamic State, reports an Islamic agency. Police and witnesses said the man was wearing a private security company uniform and around 8 p.m. made a reference to Allah and asked at least one person if they were Muslim before he attacked. An explosion in a garbage can near a Marine Corps charity ruin in New Jersey is being investigated as a possible terroristic act. The explosion that took place on Saturday was likely timed to disrupt the event. Luckily, due to the registration issues, the event was delayed, resulting in no injuries. Officials are unsure if the event was related to the events in New York.
The 2016 Primetime Emmy Awards were given out last night with many surprises, but also many expected wins. With more on that story is CNN's David Daniel.
There you go. All right.
The very first thing Emmy host Jimmy Kimmel did was hand a trophy to Transparent star Jeffrey Tambor. Less than an hour later, it was official. Tambor won his 2nd straight Emmy for playing a transgender woman.
Please give transgender talent a chance. Give them auditions. Give them their story. I would not be unhappy were I the last cisgender male to play a female transgender on television.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus,
History was made as Julia Louis-Dreyfus won her 5th consecutive Emmy for the political comedy, and after a lighthearted apology for helping create the current political climate, she ended her speech with a heavy-hearted tribute.
I'd like to dedicate this to my father, William Louis-Dreyfus, who passed away on Friday. And I'm so glad that he liked Veep, because his opinion was the one that really mattered. Thank you.
The People versus O.J. Simpson.
The night's big winner was The People v. O.J. Simpson, taking Best Limited Series and 4 other awards, including one for Sarah Paulson, who gave a stirring defense of the real-life character she played.
The more I learned about the real Marcia Clark, not the two-dimensional cardboard cutout I saw on the news, but the complicated, whip-smart, giant-hearted mother of 2 who woke up every day, put both feet on the floor, and dedicated herself to righting an unconscionable wrong, the loss of 2 innocents, Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown. The more I had to recognize that I, along with the rest of the world, had been superficial and careless in my judgment, and I'm glad to be able to stand here today in front of everyone and tell you I'm sorry.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
While the Primetime Emmys have come to a close, a few RMU-TV crew members will be taking a trip this weekend to Center City, Philadelphia for the College University Production Awards in hopes of winning an Emmy for themselves. We wish all of our attending crew good luck. When we come back, Trevor Young will be talking about the Steelers' win yesterday.
And Greg Sutton has an update on those storms we saw over the weekend and whether or not to expect more over the next few days. We'll be right back.
These boys are my heroes. They come every week to spend time with my children.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
They can teach them something no one else can.
Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Wisconsin.
They're role models to the children, and homework comes way before sports. Their grades have improved, and their lives are just a bit richer.
Okay.
What they do for my kids is truly wonderful.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
I call them my lifeline.
People don't realize how quickly you can end up on the street. One thing happens in your life, medical bills you can't pay, you lose your job, and that's it.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
We went to DC to work with the homeless. They sell a newspaper called Street Sense. Thought I'd help.
But if you want to give more, you can.
This person came up to me and said, get a job. And for 2 hours, I felt what it was like to be homeless.
Good morning. $1 help.
Some of the other students said, how can we change this? And I said, sometimes you can't change the world, but you may be able to change one person's world. My dream? Open a psych clinic for people on the street.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
All right, folks, welcome back to RMU Live. I'm Trevor Young, and here is the latest in the world of sports. Things are really kicking off in the NFL as the second weekend of the season has been completed. Many games came down to the wire, including a thrilling primetime division clash last night as Sam Bradford led the Minnesota Vikings to a win against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. That was at the debut of the U.S. Bank Stadium in Minnesota. The Pittsburgh Steelers took down division rivals Cincinnati Bengals at a rainy Heinz Field, limiting the Bengals to just one touchdown while scoring 3 themselves. D'Angelo Williams had another nice showing in the absence of Le'Veon Bell. It was bend don't break for the Steelers as they secured the win 24-16. It's mid-September, so that means the MLB season is coming to a close, and odds are the Pittsburgh Pirates will miss the postseason for the first time since 2012. Currently sitting at 74-75, many fear that the Pirates may return to a losing record as well. The Cubs, Nationals, and Dodgers all lead their divisions by at least 5 games in the National League, with the Mets, Giants, and Cards competing for the NL wildcard spot. In the American League, the Indians seem poised to take the North as they lead Detroit by 7 games. The AL West seems even more decided at this point as the Rangers hold a 9-game lead on the rest of their division. The AL East, is yet to be decided as Boston leads the Baltimore Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays are both within 3.5 games. Toronto and Baltimore remain the favorite for the AL wildcard spot. The World Cup of Hockey officially began as Team North America took down Finland 4-1 with goals from Jonathan Drouin, Nathan McKinney, Johnny Gaudreau, and Jack Eichel. It was Pittsburgh's own Penguin, Matt Murray, in net with a solid performance, stopping 24 and allowing just the lone goal to Valtteri Filppula. North America looks to win number 2 against a difficult Russian team led by Alexander Ovechkin and Penguin Evgeny Malkin. The Premier League table shakes up a bit as 6 teams have reached double-digit points. Man City sits at the top with 15 points. Everton places second with 13. The Tottenham Hotspur sits at third with 11. And Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool all currently place in fourth with 10 points each. Well, that's all that's happening in the wonderful wide world of sports. Yo, Greg, what's going on with the weather?
Well, thank you, Trevor. And today, the high is 82 with a low of 59, and the previous record was 92. So as you can see, we're about 10 degrees low of that. And tomorrow, we're gonna kick it up to an 86 on September 20th with a previous record of 94. And with the storms that passed through a couple days ago on Saturday, there was a couple reports of funnel clouds being spotted in the sky, but none of them touched down. So I think everybody's okay. One of them being in Butler County. And for the 5-day, we're gonna move on. And on Wednesday, we're going to look at 86 with a low of 62, all the way sunny. It's going to be a beautiful day outside. Thursday, we're going to have a high of 87 with a low of 65, partially cloudy, which is going to be the day of the fall solstice, which should be a great day. 86, 65 on Friday, 79 with a low of 56 on Saturday, and Sunday, a high of 74 with a low of 51, rounding out the week with a beautiful day with all sunny weather.
That's all we have for RMU Live this afternoon.
We'll see you next week.